Hey everyone, I love to read and learn more about how to treat trauma and PTSD, so I thought I'd share my favorite books about recovering from trauma and PTSD. Before we jump into my favorite books about PTSD, I'd like to thank our sponsor, BetterHelp. BetterHelp provides professional, licensed counselors in your area to help you work through whatever is going on in your life. And the best part about it is you can do it from the comfort of your own home. So check out the link in the description to learn how you can get 10% off your first month of professional counseling with BetterHelp. Okay, so here is my favorite PTSD book. It's Healing Trauma by Peter Levine. Now, I often don't have a copy of this to show. I just bought this new one because I'm constantly giving this book to people and then buying another. Anyway, it's an awesome book. It explains how trauma gets trapped in the body and how you can process through it and heal. It's also a really short read. It's got gentle examples and some easy exercises. It's my number one because it's very accessible, it's very easy to read, it's not very triggering, and it comes with a CD with exercises to help you start healing your relationship with your body. Okay, oh, and then there's another book by Peter Levine that I also love. Number two is The Body Keeps the Score by Bessel van der Kolk. So Dr. van der Kolk has done just tons of research on effective treatments for PTSD and trauma. And in this dense book, he outlines how trauma impacts the brain, the mind, and body. Bessel explains what effective treatments are available, and he gives some clear insights into actions that both individuals and society as a whole can do to prevent and treat trauma. His book includes a lot of detailed stories that could be quite triggering. This book has spent 74 weeks on Amazon's top 20 nonfiction books. I'm just happy that there's a trauma book in the top 20, and there's a good reason why it has been. It's just a really good, really comprehensive approach to understanding trauma. Okay. Number three, The Transformation by Dr. James Gordon. He's a compassionate doctor who understands the biological and medical aspect of trauma treatment, but he also understands the importance of dancing and laughing and pets as part of healing. So this book is a really holistic approach to treating the body and mind and heart after trauma. Okay, number four, Moving Beyond Trauma by Eileen Smith. I like the combination of clinical experience treating trauma using somatic experiencing approach and the personal story of how the author personally used somatic experiencing therapy to heal from trauma and become more resilient. I would say this book is not very triggering and includes some really practical exercises that you can use. So it's another good book that I recommend. Okay, number five. Getting Past Your Past by Francine Shapiro. She is the founder of EMDR, and this book walks you through the fundamentals of how trauma changes you and how you can get your life back. It includes a lot of personal stories and also a lot of practical exercises. And I would say this book is probably moderately triggering. So, Getting Past Your Past. It's a little bit more of a dense book, so I don't recommend it as often to my clients, but it's got, if you like really diving in, it's a great book. Okay, so now I'm going to share some memoirs that I found inspiring, because personal stories of working through trauma I think are really powerful. So number 6 is I Know Why the Caged Bird Sings by Maya Angelou. My clinical director gave me this book and I loved it. It really beautifully describes the pain and joy and also healing by the amazing author and poet Maya Angelou. She faces the really painful moments in her childhood head on, but also with grace. It's definitely triggering if you have a history of sexual abuse, but it's a wonderful read. Number 7, Man's Search for Meaning. This copy has been around hiking in the desert with me for a long time. I've shared it with a lot of kids, a lot of teenagers, and this is a classic, right? Viktor Frankl, he says, when we are no longer able to change a situation, we are challenged to change ourselves. And this book tells the story of Viktor Frankl's experience in Auschwitz during the Holocaust. He survived the concentration camps and came out believing in man's ability to choose their attitude and man's ability to overcome horrific experiences through purposeful life. Okay, number 8, I don't have it, I think I gave it away, is My Story by Elizabeth Smart. So Elizabeth Smart was kidnapped and sexually abused for months at the age of 13. And in this book, I mean, it's definitely triggering, but it's also uplifting. She shares the powerful account of her trauma and healing. So I really like that because it's very vulnerable, but very real. Okay. I've got a couple honorable mentions. These are on my reading list, but I haven't gotten to them yet. So I've heard nothing but good about this book by Pete Walker, CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving. Everyone tells me that this book explains CPTSD better than any other. So CPTSD is when you've been chronically abused as a child or experienced ongoing abuse that really affected your development. I just haven't gotten to it yet. It's next up on my reading list, but I've heard great things about it. Number 10 is another book that's on my reading list, What Happened to You by Oprah. It's a bestseller. I haven't read it yet, but it's another one that comes highly recommended. So Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Bruce Perry, they share personal stories, interviews, and scientific insight into how trauma impacts you and the healing process. Okay, I hope this is helpful. Thank you for watching and take care.